Hi, I'm Gabriel, and this is Learning English Path. And in this lesson, I'm going to teach you which word you should never say before bed, school, or prison. Mary met her friend Helen on the street. Helen said, "I didn't see you at church on Sunday. How are you?" Mary said, "I was exhausted on Sunday. I was in bed." So Helen said, "Let's go to the cafe and have some coffee together and talk." So they go to the cafe together. They're drinking coffee, and Helen asks, "Where's little Billy?" Mary says, "Little Billy's at school." Helen asks, "How's your husband, Bob?" Mary says, "Bob's in prison." Well, at this point, Mary doesn't know what to say. She's shocked. No, Helen doesn't know what to say. Helen is shocked, right? What would you say at this point? But after a few seconds, she says, "In prison?" Okay, so did you catch which word you should never say before bed, before school, or before prison? Let's take another look at this. So, Mary met Helen on the street. Then Helen said, "Let's go to the cafe." The cafe. My alarm's going off. Time for me to get out of bed, apparently. I'm already here. Anyway, out of bed, in bed, at school, in prison, the. Where's this word? Where's the? Right? You might have noticed there's no the before we say bed, school, prison, or church either. Why is this? Where's the? It's a place, right? Why do we not say the? I was in the bed. Well, here's why. If little Billy says, "I'm going to school now," "Bye, Mom, bye, Dad, I'm going to school," we usually take that to mean more than just the place he's going. We take that to mean that he is going to go sit in a classroom with a teacher, usually with some other students, and hopefully learn something, right? So we take that to mean he will go be a student. He will be doing certain things. He will be expected to play a role. He is playing a role as a student at this place, at school. Interesting. So, can we find a similarity here with the other words that don't have the word the just before the word of the place? So, I'm going to school. Let's choose the word prison next, right? So, if Mary says, Bob's in prison, the next question isn't going to be, "Oh, which one?" Right? No, because that's irrelevant. It doesn't matter which prison. The point is he's in prison. It doesn't matter which prison the guy's in, right? So the reason it doesn't matter is because what's important is the role he's playing in the prison. He is playing the role of a prisoner. So that's a similarity, you see? When little Billy is at school, he's expected to play a role as a student. When Bob is in prison, he is expected to play a certain role as a prisoner. He has a duty there. Little Billy has a duty at school. Okay? So that's a similarity. At church, Helen says, I didn't see you at church on Sunday. You weren't playing your role on Sunday. So, what's the role of someone at church, right? You're not going there to learn anything. What's your duty there? You're not going there to serve time as a prisoner. You're going there to be a worshiper of God, right? So that's a duty that you have if you're a Christian. If you're a Christian, then a church-going Christian in the traditional sense, then that's a duty that you have. That's a role that you play when you go to church, right? So again, know the. A great example of this is when someone says, I'm going to work. I'm going to go to work now. Right? He's at work. She's at work. There's no place called work, right? If you give directions to someone, you can't say turn left, then go straight, and what you're looking for is right next to work, right? Because work is different for everyone. Where work is doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because what matters is the role that you play at work. You're going there to play a role. You're expected to do something. You have a duty at work. It doesn't matter where it is. So because it doesn't matter where it is, and the focus is about the role that you play, there's no the. Okay? One more example. Oh, well, we've got bed, right? So that's an interesting one. Bed. I'm in bed. I was still in bed. Now, what's your role in bed? You might think, well, you don't have any duty in bed, right? But if you say to someone, think about it. If you say I was in bed, if Mary says to Helen, I was in bed, Helen doesn't ask which bed or whose bed. That's a different thing, right? But the focus, she's expecting that what she means is that she was asleep, right? So she was playing, in a sense, what you could think here, how you might think about this is she was playing the role she has as a sleeper. It's a little strange, but you can think of it that way because it is a rule in the English language. We don't say I'm in the bed. If we're talking about we're going to sleep or we're sleeping, we don't say I was in the bed. We say I was in bed. So you just to keep this rule in your mind, you can think you are playing the role of being a sleeper. Okay, and there's one more example, and there's a difference in England, how we say this, from how it's said in America. And that's the word hospital, which is interesting, right? So in England, in Britain, we say she's in hospital, right? But in America, where I was born, I lived in England most of my life, but born in America. In America, they would say she was in the hospital. In the hospital. So, in hospital, in the hospital. Now, maybe that's because in America, it really matters which hospital that she's in. Right? In the UK, it's all run by the NHS, so it doesn't really matter. But think about the words where we do say the. The cafe. They were in the cafe. You don't have any role to play in the cafe. Right? I'll meet you on the street. You don't have any role to play on the street. When they met each other on the street, they didn't have a duty, right? You're not playing a role on the street unless your job is on the street, unless you're working on the street. That's a different thing altogether, right? So, anyway, another great example I love is the cinema. Now, why do we say the cinema? Because, I kind of feel like we have a social duty there. We have a duty to be quiet during the movie and to not disturb others, because we're all here for the same thing. We're all here to watch the movie, right? And eat popcorn. So, why do we say the? Well, it's because we're not expected to play a certain role. Okay? Right? At school, we play the role of a student. In prison, we play the role of a prisoner. At church, we play the role of a worshiper. In hospital, we play the role of a patient. Even in bed, we kind of play the role of a sleeper. Right? But at the cinema, we're not expected to play that role. That's for the actors and actresses on screen. Right? So, some more exceptions. Let's say Mary tells Helen that she needs to go pick up little Billy. So she says, I'm going to the school now. She can say that. She can say, I'm going to the school now to pick up little Billy. Why does she say the? Well, because it's not her that's playing a role at the school. She's going to the place to pick Billy up. She's not going there to play the role of a student or a teacher. She's going there to pick her son up and take him home. So it's the place, the, right? She can also say, this is interesting, she can also say, I'm going to pick Billy up from school. Now she doesn't say the. She can say, I'm picking Billy up from school. Why does she not say the there? Well, because she's directly talking about Billy's role at the school. She is, in a sense, there to relieve Billy from his role as a student. Right? So, she can say, I'm picking up Billy from school. Let's take the same situation in prison. If it's visiting hours, she can say, it would be a bad idea for her to say to Helen, I'm going to prison now. Because that would mean that she's going to serve time in a jail cell and eat terrible food and be locked up. That's not what she wants to say. She wants to say, I'm going to the prison now to talk with my husband, Bob. If we are talking about the place in the context of where it is, or where something else is, if we're using a preposition in the sentence, then we would use the word the. So if Mary asks little Billy, where's your teddy bear? Little Billy could say, it's on the bed, right? Little Billy wouldn't say, it's in bed, unless, of course, the teddy bear is alive and sleeping. So at the end of this conversation, Mary chugs down her coffee and says to Helen, I'm going home. Not I'm going to home, or I'm going to the home. She says, I'm going home. If you want to know why this is, then find out next week in another video. It's a strange little rule, that one, isn't it? So, if you want to see that video, subscribe to my channel, because I've got a lot of fantastic lessons coming up. Some great content that if you're on the learning English path, if you want to learn English, you don't want to miss these lessons. Because I really just want to give you the best. And I want to see you achieve your goals. And if your goal is learning English, then I can help you. So please, do yourself a favor and subscribe and check out my guide for how to learn English with 101 songs. It's amazing. There has never been a guide like it ever before. I'm the first person to have written something like this, honestly. So I've got that in a link in the description. Click that link if you want it and check out my video on it. It's amazing. And stay tuned, because what I can give you is something that nobody else can. I promise you. Keep going.